Good day, this is Lady Agalo Sharam Elapat from BSED English 2A. In this video presentation, I will present my final output, which are the 7 activities of 7 new literacies. The topic I am assigned into is the common concerns in English. And to be honest, considering that there are a few concerns in learning English language per se, I have decided on highlighting a specific concern or problem in each activity or literacy. This is including erroneous usage, colloquialism and slangs, idioms, punctuation use, pronunciations, and confusing words. There are numerous English words that pronunciation is far different from how it's spelled, and it is important to have clear pronunciation when speaking in English for communication, especially if you are not a native speaker and the listener as well, as it may cause misunderstanding or confusion, considering that there are also words that have the same sound yet different meaning. So the first activity is about enhancing cultural and multicultural literacy. Here, I have come up with the objective of reducing stigma and indifference when it comes to pronunciation of people with different backgrounds. At the same time, it is to promote respect, acceptance, and understanding. Entitled Let's Talk You Speak, this activity will practice the students' pronunciations of words while understanding that differences exist between people and there is nothing wrong with it. Through different language and pronunciation distinctions, students will explore the use of words provided by forming their own example sentences in correlation to the concept of the culture a country they've chosen. The rubrics follows with a mask for students to work considering the proper use of cultural concepts, clarity, coherence, and organization of ideas collectively as an overall criterion for this activity. As a whole, English is a language that has many considerations when learning. In this activity, the objective is to find out what common concerns or mistakes English language has that people experience or is experiencing. As an obvious act to impose social literacy, this activity is an interview where students has to communicate or socialize with a peer, a friend, a family member, or a stranger to respond to what activity needs. The student is to ask respondents their share of mistakes in learning English. Additionally, both interviewer and interviewee will consider how the mistake or concern in learning was able to be learned. The students will take note and compile of the data gathered and will do a reflection as a conclusion of this activity. The rubrics is simply focused on saying how the concepts, thoughts, or ideas is presented significantly in the completion of this activity. For instance, there are lots of confusing English words. Words that have the same sound but different meanings are used, like red, as in the color, and read, as in the past tense of read. Considering as one of the most common concerns in learning English, this activity highlights familiarization and proper use of words with same sounds or spelling alongside learning how to be smart in spending your money. In an imaginative scenario, students were to put themselves in the given situation in which they were challenged to budget their expenses with a limited amount of money for a week. And with the use of confusing words that students encountered or experienced, they are to create an organizational map or a table to compare the significance of their needs and wants. They have to make sure of coherence with words they will utilize. As more of a challenge, they are free to design or organize the outcome of this activity as their output however they please. As for the rubrics, presentation of concepts and ideas is crucial. The student's skill to organization and planning will be put into test. At the same time, creativity and appropriateness of materials and medium use is to be considered as this activity is a matter of free will. As the most common means to challenge and assess a learner's media literacy, incorporating social media in an educational content is the best way for it. In this activity, the objective targets to inform the public of the importance of learning English, and while at it, the common mistakes or concerns associated in it. This activity also promotes the use of social media for educational purposes, thus productive and appropriate medium for students in schools. This activity is entitled What's on Your Mind? It is a one-week activity where students will post or share their content or input of the topic in any online platforms through a brochure, a poster, or an infographic. What makes this activity handy is that they are to expect an audience to give feedback on their work or an interaction by sharing their ideas within each other. This activity concludes with a completion or a compilation or portfolio with insights and evidences of the one-week activity. The rubrics incorporate significance of concepts and ideas, proper utilization of the media as means of both communication and learning, and of course, creativity and originality that will be visibly shown in the contents presented for a week. Writing in English should be so easy with collective thoughts and vocabulary. But one of the hassles in it is the use of proper punctuations, as oftentimes an essay can be written very well but it hurts the eye because of misuse or missing periods, commas, colons, or hyphens. In this activity, I combined enhancing ecological literacy and writing an essay to give appreciation to the human connection with nature. I reckon reflecting is one of the effective ways for us to understand and care for something profoundly, and this as a way for the students to realize how deeply connected the existence of human and natural occurrences are in life. And so this activity is entitled Dear Nature. The students, however, should also consider the APA format in writing. It is because I noticed that some students sometimes don't follow a certain alignment or format for activities that involves reflection or essay writing, hence their paper looking so messy. Of course, the rubrics follow originality and avoidance of plagiarism. Writing aspects such as coherence, grammar, and punctuation use are highly considered. Colloquial and slangs are obviously prominent in today's way of communicating. So I reckon it is a smart move to incorporate this common concern, especially in a more formal use of English language, as the topic of this activity. In this activity, the students are required to research and analyze ideas they will seek and found. With 5 languages they will choose, they will take note of the common slangs used in daily conversation. As they are to form their own examples using the words, they should know the origin, meaning or use of those by watching a movie or browsing online. What makes this activity to enhance critical literacy is the fact that they have to research and analyze the information they will see as they move forward in completing this task. For the rubrics, students must make sure that they relate the concepts they will use to the topic. Colloquialism they will use should be, for a fact, accurate to the context of language respectively. Plagiarism, especially, is, with the examples, to be strictly monitored. Speech pace is mostly a concern to an individual learning a foreign language. And speech pace is important because it may constantly cause misunderstanding when urgency or speed is involved. This activity's objective is to showcase creativity while relating the concept of speech paces as one of the common concerns in learning English. I've come up incorporating this topic in enhancing creative literacy as I believe it is somehow correlated in expressing oneself. So, in this activity, students are to browse the topics about speech paces. After that, they will formulate their own ideas to create a digital art or draw by hand. The type of art will be based on the student's self-expression, as long as it doesn't go far with the scope of the topic given. A brief and concise explanation of the output's concept is needed to help track the whole meaning of the art. A working image of oneself is also required to ensure evidence of work. The rubrics is composed of exhibiting creativity and originality with the concept related to the overall artwork as an outcome. And this ends my presentation of 7 activities for 7 literacies as my final requirement. Thank you for listening.